Today our topic is inheritance, Unit 3.3 and 3.4. Our objectives will be to define inheritance, to understand what are genes and chromosomes, and to describe the involvement of genes and chromosomes in the inheritance of characters. Inheritance. Biological inheritance is the passing on of traits from parents to their offsprings, either through asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction. The offspring cells or organisms acquire the genetic information of their parents. As it is very clear from the definition that the offsprings are the new individual cells. They acquire those genes or their characteristics, their traits from their parents through sexual reproduction. So through heredity, variation between individuals can accumulate and cause species to evolve by natural selection. The study of heredity in biology is called genetics. Genetic inheritance occurs due to genetic material in the form of DNA being passed from parents to their offsprings. When organisms reproduce, all the information for growth, survival, and reproduction for the next generation is found in the DNA passed down from the parent generation. Gregor Mendel. Much of our understanding of inheritance began with the work of a monk by the name of Gregor Mendel. His experiments and laws of inheritance provide the foundation of modern genetics. He is also called as the father of modern genetics. In sexual reproduction, the genetic material of two parents is combined and passed on to one individual. Although the offspring receives a combination of genetic material from two parents, certain genes from each parent will dominate the expression of different traits. So during sexual reproduction, the combination of genes or the DNA of two parents in one individual occurs due to meiosis. Meiosis is a type of cell division which occurs in humans and other mammals, other organisms, for the sexual reproduction. What are genes? A gene is a sequence of nucleotides in DNA or RNA that encodes the synthesis of a gene product, either RNA or protein. So RNA or proteins are the gene products which causes due to in the process of replication, translation, and transcription. Gene expression is greatly affected by the environment, as environmental factors are there, because if for example a person receives white color genes from his or her parents, and her activities are outdoors, like he spent most of his time outdoor, so his skin color will be dark. So it is not greatly affected by the genes themselves, but these genes are affected by the environment. Gene products. Proteins are probably the most important class of material in the body. Proteins are not just building blocks for muscles, connective tissues, skin, and other structures. They are also needed to make enzymes, and enzymes are the complex proteins that control and carry out nearly all chemical processes and reactions within the body. The body produces thousands of different enzymes, thus the entire structure and function of the body is governed by the types and amount of proteins the body synthesizes. Protein synthesis is controlled by genes which are contained on chromosomes. As I told you before, that protein synthesis or the making of proteins is controlled by genes, and these genes comes from the DNA with the help of RNA. So the first process is transcription, which is related from the DNA production of the RNA from the DNA, and from the RNA when proteins are made, that process is called as translation. So in the process of translation, proteins are being synthesized. Genes and chromosomes. Genes are segments of deoxyribonucleic acids that contain the code for a specific protein that functions in one or more type of cells in the body. Chromosomes are structures within cells that contain a person's genes. Each extremely long DNA molecule is coiled up inside one of the chromosome. Chromosomes. A chromosome is made up of very long strand of DNA and contains many genes, hundreds to thousands. The genes on each chromosomes are arranged in a particular sequence, and each gene has a particular location on the chromosomes that is called as the locus. In addition to DNA, chromosomes contain other chemical components that influence gene functions. These are called as proteins. What are traits? Trait means characteristics or characters. A trait is any gene determined characteristic. Gene determined means that is controlled by genes. Many traits are determined by the function of more than one gene. For example, a person's height is likely to be determined by many genes, including those affecting growth, appetite, muscle mass, and activity level. However, some traits are determined by the function of a single gene. Here is an example of the eye color, which is controlled by multiple genes, as you can see in the diagrams in the pictures. How do life begins? A life begins with the fertilization or the fusion of a sperm with an egg cell. Both of them contribute half of their chromosomes, so the resulting cells called the zygote will have the usual 46 number of chromosomes. Meiosis, a type of cell division, also allows genetic variation through a process of DNA shuffling while the cells are dividing. As you can see in the diagram, there are two cells, the sperm and an ovum mother cells. Both of them have 46 number of chromosomes, but after meiosis, when the cells divides, the chromosome number reduced to 23. But during the process of fertilization, when both of the cells unite again together, they form a new cell called as the zygote, which contains 46 number of chromosomes again. So the number of chromosomes is regained in this process. Thank you.